Greetings everyone, this is Nat,
This is Jam.
and welcome back to another installment of the SpongeBob Reviews. Today, we're reviewing the Season 7 episode, Shellback Shenanigans.
And you know how I love those Gary episodes. It's Take Your Pet to Work Day, and SpongeBob finds out before he leaves work that they are run out of Krabby Patties.
How we didn't know that by cooking the last patty before this.
You would think. Plankton just happens to be eavesdropping with a telescope. Mr. Krabs are talking and overhears that they're going to make a fresh batch, and overhears that it's Bring Your Pet to Work Day the next day.
But how did he even eavesdrop on the conversation using a telescope? There's no windows from that side of the Krusty Krab. I mean, there is a window in the Krusty Krab office, but it's on the other side.
So Plankton sends Gary off to have a vacation with other snails. Plankton borrows his shell. There's a hospital scene because he thinks he's sick. Why does he think he's sick? Because
He's green.
he's green. Of course, it's Plankton.
How SpongeBob doesn't recognize that it's Plankton despite staring directly at him.
Yeah, this is... And Plankton's talking, too, and so it's this dumb SpongeBob episode. So they take him to the hospital, and the doctor makes another appearance. This is the same doctor that was when someone broke his laugh box.
Plankton eats a huge pill.
A pill of something, medicine, and I don't know what happens. He explodes or something. And so they say there's nothing to be done.
SpongeBob.
1 second he was healthy, and for some reason they want to give him a pill even though he's healthy. And then he's not healthy because the
Pill hurt.
explodes. And his last wish, his dying wish, is to eat a Krabby Patty.
And it just so happens that the bus that's going to Club Shell goes at the same street as the Krusty Krab at the exact time where SpongeBob brings in Plankton.
Yeah, the time isn't... Is he going to it or is he coming home from it? Because he left the night before. I'm confused.
No, he left earlier that day.
Probably on the way to it then, I guess,
Yeah, but it seems like it's been a few hours.
Gary sees Plankton sneaking into the Krusty Krab
And then
in his shell, and that's...
Gary just beats Plankton up, and the conflict in the episode ends with Gary being used as a brand new security system.
And I guess SpongeBob figures out that it was Plankton all along because I guess he knows that Gary's not really dying now.
Yeah, even though they don't really ever actually, I think, show SpongeBob's reaction at all.
Yes.
He just kind of walks out of frame.
I get the feeling this episode was longer and they did a lot of editing to it.
However, I will say that this episode does have some good jokes, like when Mr. Krabs calls Squidward,
His pet. Yeah, that's funny.
and some other minor moments.
But overall, Nat, what's your opinion of
Shellback.
Shellback Shenanigans?
I actually give it a 2.
Ooh.
Honestly, even though this episode does have a few problems, I don't really dislike this episode that much.
So I'm going to give it a 1. It just doesn't do anything for me. They had the one good Squidward joke, and that's about it. Forgettable episode. I've already forgotten it, actually.